I want to ask you a question that most people are too afraid to ask themselves. Is it possible that right now, in this season of your life, God cannot use you? Not because he doesn't want to, not because he has given up on you, but because something in you is blocking what he is trying to do through you. There are three specific types of men that show up repeatedly in Scripture. Men who had potential, men who had faith, men who knew God, but who God could not move through. Not yet. Not until something changed. I want to show you all three, because there's a good chance you recognize yourself in at least one of them. And if you do, stay with me to the end, because there's a way out. Type 1, the proud man. Now, before you think, that's not me, hear me out, because pride doesn't always look like arrogance. It doesn't always look like someone who thinks they're better than everyone else. Sometimes, pride looks like a man who has his own plan and is too attached to it to let God redirect him. Sometimes, it looks like a man who knows the Bible well enough to argue any point, but never lets it actually change how he lives. Sometimes, it looks like a man who can't receive correction from anyone, because deep down, he believes he's already figured it out. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction." Not might go, goes. It's a guarantee. Here's the simple truth about why God cannot use a proud man. To use someone, God has to be able to direct them, redirect them, correct them. And a man who is full of himself leaves no room for any of that. You cannot be led if you are convinced you already know the way. And God is not in the business of following. He is in the business of leading. Type 2, the double-minded man. James 1:8 describes this person as unstable in all his ways, not some of his ways, all of them. Because when a man is divided at the core, that division shows up everywhere. This is the man who prays on Sunday and compromises on Monday, who tells God he's all in and then lives like he has a backup plan, who wants the blessing of a man fully surrendered to God while holding on to the lifestyle of a man who isn't. And here's the thing, this man is not a hypocrite in the way we usually mean it. He genuinely loves God. He genuinely wants more, but he keeps one hand on the things of the world because letting go completely feels too risky. The problem is, God cannot build on a divided foundation. He cannot pour into a man who keeps pouring himself back out into things that work against what God is doing. Double-mindedness is not a character flaw. It's a decision. And it can be undone by a different decision. But it has to be made fully, not halfway. Type 3, the passive man. This one is dangerous because it hides behind what looks like humility. The passive man doesn't cause problems. He doesn't make waves. He shows up. He listens, he nods, and then he goes home and does nothing. He knows what he should do in his marriage, but doesn't do it. He knows the conversation he needs to have, but avoids it. He knows God is calling him somewhere, but he keeps waiting for more confirmation, more comfort, more certainty before he takes a single step. James 4:17 says, "If anyone knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, that is sin." Not ignorance, not weakness, sin. God cannot use a man who will not move. The Bible is full of ordinary men who changed the world, but every single one of them had to take a step first. Before the sea parted, before the walls fell, before the victory came, somebody had to move. Passivity is not patience. Passivity is fear dressed up in spiritual language. Now, here is what I need you to hear before this video ends. Every single one of these types, the proud man, the double-minded man, the passive man, is described in the Bible not as a finished story, but as a starting point. These are not categories God puts men in permanently. They are patterns he exposes so they can be broken. Peter was proud and became the rock the church was built on. Thomas was double-minded and became one of the most courageous missionaries in history. Moses was passive, told God to send someone else, and then led an entire nation out of slavery. The fact that you recognize yourself in one of these types is not a sentence. It is an invitation. God doesn't show you what needs to change because he's done with you. He shows you because he's not finished yet. The proud man, the double-minded man, the passive man. 3 types God cannot use. Not because he doesn't want to, but because something has to shift first. Which one resonated with you? Drop it in the comments. 1, 2, or 3. No explanation needed. Just be honest with yourself. Because that honesty right there, that's actually the first step out. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. And subscribe if you want more content that doesn't just make you feel good, but actually challenges you to grow. I'll see you in the next one.